What in the f is going on?
It's a splooge.
What is my screen right now? What? Noobs, man. So easy. Just stand in it, bro. God, how do you get this wrong? All right, you lot. After so much badgering, the question is, can I tell? Because apparently everything in Final Fantasy XIV is so well telegraphed that it's something we should be able to pick on. Can I, after all the years of playing World of Warcraft, figure out what is happening in a Final Fantasy XIV boss fight by just looking at it? So I've drafted in somebody who actually knows a thing or two about Final Fantasy XIV, because you've been playing it. Mr. Nupss, what have you got for me here, pal?
Hello, everyone. I've basically got the intro extreme trial to Shadowbringers, which is the latest expansion. I don't have any experience on like the hard fights, which you did ask for on Twitter and stuff. But we've gone for basically like the intro heroic level-ish fight of Final Fantasy's latest expansion. So let's see if you can figure out what's going on in this one.
Yeah, I do want to put out, I did ask on Twitter what is like the best boss in Savage, and it has led to, well, it's turned into a war. I asked for it 2 hours ago, and my Twitter is now a current storm, so I'm really sorry. But I asked Mike something that he knows about and can talk to us about, and honestly, it doesn't matter. We're looking at mechanics here to see if I can figure this out. So I've not seen this. I have never, I'll be honest with you, I have never watched through a Final Fantasy XIV raid boss in my life. I have seen odd videos of Final Fantasy XIV, of course I have, that have come across. I couldn't tell you anything. I don't know any of the classes. If I'm looking here, this looks like an arcane mage. I'm seeing a lot of things that look like spells, so a healer maybe? Or it looks like a ranged DPSer.
I mean, if you have a look at the raid frames, can you figure out what kind of class it is?
Okay. I assume this is... we want to say that this video is from Audience. Please check them out for anything here. That's what we're going to be looking through today. I see a picture of what looks like a staff. I'm going to go with a mage of some description for this one. This here, Mellow, looks like... a tank of some description, although that's a staff, so it might be a different type of caster, maybe a healer. This Z icon, don't know. Green, I don't know. This is DPS. That looks like bullets, so ranged hunter type character maybe. This looks like a target as... Don't laugh at me. This looks like a target of some description, so again, maybe a ranged DPSer. This looks like a shield, so I think Shiku is a tank. No. Wait. Health bars. These two are tanks. These two here.
Yeah,
they're color-coded. The blues are tanks. The greens are healers. So it's 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 4 DPS.
Correct.
Yeah! Okay, so our character is going to be a healer. Now, there appears to be a paperclip above this person's head. I don't know what that is. There are numbers. So it looks like what we would do with raid markers in World of Warcraft. And I'm seeing things on the floor, which I'm guessing because we've not pulled our raid markers for where they're eventually going to stand because of mechanics. No. Not everybody has a number, though. Like, these two don't get a number for some reason. But maybe they're limited. Okay. I'm ready to hit the play button and figure out what's going on. I don't know what this boss looks like, so I want to see the boss first.
All right.
They're jumping. Mark. Oh, this is... Okay, so these are the different markers that they can apply to people. You can have paper clips, red markers, which means don't touch. So, I don't know.
Basically a big no.
Big no. And then you get these other markers, which probably are what you're going to use on enemies or something like that. I do quite like... I've got to say, I like these raid markers here with the numbers on. This is really cool. This is much better than having a triangle and a cross or whatever. Just being able to go to 1, go to 2. I like that. Okay, it looks like we're fighting a butterfly of some description.
It is sort of a fairy, indeed. It is Titania Extreme for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, I mean, let's start, I guess.
All right, let me go. I'll stop and start to talk about things. You don't have to confirm whether I'm right or wrong until maybe later, but we'll see. Okay. Battle commencing in 15 seconds. Mellow Shark. Okay, they gave themselves a different mark, like a healer mark, maybe. I don't know. Okay. A lot of buffs going out. A lot of short-term buffs. Some shields or something going on. Okay,
yeah,
we've got
the
some
pull's very
dialogues.
important.
Yeah, the poll is still, but come and play for the night is bright and you can sleep when you're dead. Now, I'm not reading this to try and for anything other than what mechanics they may have. So I'm predicting they might have some sort of sleep mechanic. Or maybe there's something with sun and moon or something like that. Is there? Where's the enemy Caspar? What the? Oh, it's in the middle. Oh, okay. It's all what the? It's so overwhelming.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay.
To be fair, like this location is not the default location of the UI. Like it's been moved around a little bit, but everything you see on screen is basically default UI. So nothing's been added to it.
I've spotted a cast bar, which is cool. Okay, something called Bright Sabbath is about to happen. I don't know what it's doing. They're all grouped up for it. It does AoE damage. I didn't see anything else. Oh, we're moving out for some reason. Okay. Why is this one person moving out? Can I figure out? Can you guess which one? Wait, what? So that was like an AoE on the floor? What in the fuck is going on? Raptor farm. Oh, it changes into different animals. Okay. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, it's gained raptor form. Okay, so it's gonna do. It's like it's like a Zulaman thing where it's changed into different forms.
Shall I say that the raptor form is part of one of the players? It's not actually part of the boss.
I mean, maybe later, because for our Final Fantasy XIV fans, I'm sure they're getting a kick out of it because
it would transform into a raptor fairy.
Yeah, a raptor fairy. Cool. You know what's really interesting? We're watching a healer POV, I figured that out, but I cannot tell for the life of me how they're targeting players or anything like that. Whether they're using... I see a mouse icon here, but I have no idea whether the heals are smart heals. They just appear to be just pressing things, or are they doing DPS right now? I don't know. Titania calls the water. Okay, that's why this person went into the corner to soak a pool. I think these orbs are appearing slowly... And they've had to put a player in each of the pools. And I don't know why. And then they're bringing... I don't know whether they gained a buff. Let me go back a sec. Hold on. Right, these orbs spawned. I've got a fire resistance buff. And then moved into here.
Can you see whether the fire resistance buff is active always or not?
I can see a series of buffs here, actually. Hold on. Right, fire resistance is that... blue hand. Nobody has it here. There goes the fire resistance buff, and then they move in with it, and then more people are gaining it. So it looks like they're sharing fire resistance amongst the teams, as it's so visually over the top. It's crazy. Oh, now we got 4 arrows coming in. What the hell? And then they got flame hammer. Okay, what I think happened here. All right, this is my guess as to what actually happened here. Is it summoned the water counts as fire, into the 4 corners. The players go into that, and then they gain a fire resistance buff, which they then brought to the party that gathered up. They then spread the fire resistance buffed out for the ability Flame Hammer, so it didn't kill them. That's my guess as to what that mechanic is. So they went out, they got fire resistance when you play with fire, then moved in, and this built up a load of fire. And then they did something called Flame Hammer, which didn't appear to have a cast. Oh, here we go. Then this happened, and they got and then fire resistance was removed. It looks like after the end of it. So I think that's what that mechanic was. Yeah, I think I figured that out.
Why do you think it was important that they soaked the pools on the outside?
My guess right now is because that's the only way to get... You have to soak the water up in order to get the fire resistance buff. So that's what I think they did. I think they had to go and soak the water pools. Otherwise, they don't get enough fire resistance buffs for the party, or the pool will explode if they're not soaked up. Because the pools have remained. I'm looking at the pools are still here. And there's more now. So whether just going in the water gives you the fire resistance buff, or it didn't before anyway.
Correct. It's just when you're standing in water, basically. And if you don't soak one of those pools, just bad things happen. Like I think in ad spawns, and you basically start wiping. So every single water pool has to be soaked.
All right, we've got something called Phantom Rune going on right now, and I'm noticing this pool has appeared, which the tank seems to be in. Oh, the whole room's going red. Is this just, that looks like to me just AoE damage. Like
so Phantom Rune you've seen before, which was an ability that happened early on, which is basically a PB AoE. And Phantom Rune is one of those abilities that is not always the same. It can change to be like a donut AoE, it could be like a PB AoE, and you need to kind of read the boss's body language, so to speak, to see which one it's going to be, or you can be on the edge of the effect and go and react to the effect. But if you're significantly out of range of either, then you're going to be late to react to it. So it's either read the body language, like which pose the boss is taking,
what
or
are you talking
be on the
about?
edge of the effect. Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it.
What? Read the body language. It's just a blur. What?
I mean, if you look out for it, you could probably see it.
Yeah, I guess so. I'll try and spot that if it does it again. We've got Midsummer Night's Dream coming right now. I need to see it to try and figure out what it does. Midsummer Night's Dream. What does that do?
It's a splooge.
What? It's my screen right now. What? Okay, hold on. Midsummer Night's Dream. Here we go. Oh, I think it's just a phase change.
Yep, it is.
Okay.
It's basically a really, really fancy phase change.
Okay. I got it. I nailed it. Okay. I tell you what, that's quite a lot of health. I'm noticing here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's something going on
happening
with tanks. Yeah, these people are being targeted by this, and you AoE around you. So people are moving this out individually to do an AoE splash, and then moving back to the group. How it's choosing people, I'm not sure, because they're doing it in numerical order. So is it closest to the boss, or are they passing it between each other like a chain lightning? Let me watch that again. Hold on. So you get it, and then 2 moves out, and seemingly... I think you have to move through the character to take it off them. So where does 3 go
there
now?
there is a graphical representation of who's targeted, so...
yeah, but they're doing it in a predetermined order. So they're choosing who's getting it. It went 1, 2, 3, 4. And it looks like they're moving into the boss's hitbox in order to pick it up. So what I'm assuming this mechanic is you get debuffed or something, so you don't want to take 2 of these things.
Correct.
See, that number 3 moved into the hitbox to then pick up the next one. And 4 is going to do the same.
You can probably see what the mechanic is when the healer itself does it. I think he's the last one to do it.
Okay.
So he's going to go after 5 here, I think.
It looks to me like he just moves into the hitbox.
Yeah, that's basically like sort of like a... Nah, it's not the cheat way to do it. It's basically you have to interrupt the tether. So one player gets tethered with that line mechanic, the chain mechanic, and you basically have to interrupt that tether to retarget the next blast.
Okay,
so you can either do that by standing in the hitbox and claiming that entire angle, or just moving in front of the player, basically.
Okay. So you just move into the line and then you take it over. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have something called Fey Light happening. Okay, this is going to blind me, isn't it? Whatever this is. And...
Not too bad.
Nothing. That's a tank cleave. I just saw it.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure. Because there's like there's notification there. Yeah, that's just a tank hit. Some tank mitigation, I'm guessing.
Is it just a single hit?
No, it's doing a chain of them. So whether it's swapping between tanks, I can't really tell. But it's a series of tank hits. I don't think it's... What the fuck is... What? Okay. We've got fireworks and sparklies going on over here. Chain of brambles. Okay, chain of brambles. Okay, there's some sort of party in this corner. I'm not sure if there's one in the other corner. What does it do? Nobody's moving to it. So is it something that's emanating from the corner? It is. Okay. So stand in the gap, this looks like to me.
There's a mechanic that you missed, and one of the players actually made a big boo boo, and I want to see if you can if you can spot the mistake. So there's a mechanic you missed.
Is it growth rune?
No, growth rune is the one that you see growing on the sides. The mechanic that you missed is chain of bramble or bramble chain or something like that. So try and spot what happens there. So this one, chain of brambles.
Chain of brambles. Mm-hmm. Okay, I thought chain of brambles was actually when the brambles started emanating from the sides. Okay, so
understandably, but that's growth rune.
Okay, so chain of brambles is currently targeting Mellow Shark, which is one of the tanks, as what I can tell. So let's see. Right, 2 people are running away here actually, and they have a green icon. In fact, a lot of people have a green icon over their head. There's the chain. I see it. It looks like they're trying to snap it.
Correct.
Is it a snapping thing?
It is a snap. Do you see how it works, more or less, or not?
I saw the chain coming from the boss, it looks like. I don't think that... Are they paired with players? I'm not sure if they're paired with players or with the boss. Let me watch it again. So, they gained it in a second. There. So, they started going in one direction, plus Thorny Vine. I can't see who they're chained to.
Yeah, it's difficult to see, so I'll just say you are chained to another player, and the mechanic is actually the healers and the tanks, they get chained to the DPS. So 4 DPS get chained to 2 healers and 2 tanks. Now, can you see what the mistake was? Because we're on a platform with limited movement options. Like this, if you fall off the edge, you're dead, right? So how is someone making a mistake here?
Okay, so I assume what's supposed to happen here, and I think most players did, is that the healers and the tanks are going to go to our top left here, and our DPS is supposed to go to the bottom right. And that should naturally snap all these things, because if it's only chained, if DPS are only chained to healers and tanks, vice versa, that's how that should work.
But two players are moving out early. Is that good or bad?
Is that good or bad? I don't know. Like, for me, being out so it instantly snaps would make sense. But it's
hard to see this mechanic, and it's hard to feel but when you've not played it. So what happens here is you need to actually stand on top of each other, because you need to move a minimum distance from the moment that the chains attach until they break. So if you're very far apart, then you just don't have the distance to cover to break it anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a little technical, but I get the idea. There is moving early just makes you have to run even further afterwards.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So then the brambles come out, which looks to me like you just stand in a safe spot. That's all that appears to be to me. Okay. And then a little concerned that the DPS got separated there, because I think if I'm not wrong, if chain bramble had done right, they would have only ever to separate a little bit and then be back with the group, although they're ranged, so it probably doesn't matter. But that's my feel there, is that
well, there's two melee DPS in this raid, which is a monk and a samurai, I think it is. They could have joined the party, but they would have to have like a very quick chains with their partner and a very quick leap back to the boss to be able to squeeze through the middle bramble that comes through the middle of the room, because you're naturally going to be separated, right? Because tanks and healers go moving to one side and DPS moving to the other. So you have to be really quick and snappy. Yeah, so that's basically like an optimization you can do if you do the mechanic well.
Is it bad? I'm looking for min-max maneuvers.
No, it's awesome, right? That's the whole crux of playing these two types of fights. Seeing the min-maxing.
I'm gonna do a guide. Right, divination rune. Okay, divination rune. Let's see this. That's a tank hit. That's what that looks like to me. It looks like a big tank hit. It looks like it might have to be shared. Kind of a big broad radius on that one, but still in the tank direction, so just be behind the boss. What the fuck? Okay. I'm gonna have to watch this through. I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. It's insane. Okay.
Where do we need to move, Mike? Where do we go?
Oh, this is really easy. You see which order they spawn in. Okay, that's a doddle. How insanely visual. Oh, what? Okay, spread. Yeah, okay. That mechanic is really easy. God, it's so visual. It's crazy. Right, the Phantom Rune. All right, those two mechanics are really easy. I will say I'm kind of impressed with how many mechanics are on this fight. So far we've seen, what, I think we're up to like 10 or 11?
Something like that, yeah. And there's more to come, and then there's like overlaps to come, I suppose, which is kind of normal for a WoW fight as well.
Yep. All right. So Fansaru should be the big tank hit, I think, where the big slam.
No, Phantom Rune was actually the one where it could change between a PB AoE and a donut AoE. So that was where the body language or being on the edge of the effect came in.
Oh my god, what's happening now? I didn't see any form of damage or even movement from the guys there, so I assume they were just prepared for it. I didn't spot it anyway. The more the merrier, join us, my children. Okay, we got an ad wave, some sort of intermission ad fight. Okay, we've got Broccoli and Tree Man. Mustard and Peace Blossom have joined the fight. They're separate. Okay, they're working on Mustard first. Okay, so you have to do your spread AoE while doing this. And okay, so I can see Mustard does like frontal AoEs in random directions, so you need to keep moving around it. So you want to be close to Mustard, so you can avoid that easily. Mustard's down. Oh, there's 3 ads actually. There's Puck as well. Very hard to see what Puck is doing. So I assume they got rid of Mustard first because it does that frontal, which keeps changing the area. So that makes sense to do that. I'm wondering if Peace Bloom has a frontal cleave or something like that. That's why the tank is pointing it to the edge. It looks like that's the case. There seems to be like a lightning AoE around the tank. And I assume Puck is doing the pink spread out mechanic. So that's what I'm guessing these are. So Mustard does frontal cleaves that need to be taken out quickly because they cut off the play area. Puck does the pink thing that causes you to spread. And the other guy just does the frontal splash on the tank, so it's not a big concern at all. I can wait till last. That's my guess.
I don't actually know the in-depth mechanic of that phase, but that's basically like the gist of it. Like Mustard Seed didn't need to be tanked, so you just killed that one first, and it was probably the most annoying one. And the other 2 had like abilities that the tanks could deal with mostly, or the raid could deal with by spreading out.
What in the tits is happening here? Okay.
So the ads are back.
Well, it looks to be an Ent is spawning. Okay, there's 3 of them. Okay, it's Mega Mustard. It's
Mega Puck.
That is Mega Mustard Seed. Okay. So, are they going to do the same mechanics but in a bigger way? Okay, yes, they are. Okay, they're doing the same mechanics that they did when they were small. They just made them larger. So, same effect is in play. Although Peace Blossom is not being tanked, interestingly enough, from what I could tell. Well, same again, burning Mustard Seed down because he cuts off more of the player space. Wait a minute. Oh, this is the mechanic from earlier with the water. But it's now back here. I think this is Flame Hammer or whatever it was called. But I didn't
it's not the exact same mechanic. It's basically this graphic, like this arrows pointing to one player. This is basically like a universal mechanic sign within the game that says, this is ability you need to stack. So
yeah,
this
is
would
a
be
shared
used for
damage
meteors.
meteor thing. Yeah. Okay. So that's a standard graphic that always means share. Okay, super. That's dead easy. So the sharing, I'm not sure who's doing that, but I would hazard a guess because he's not being tanked. It's Peace Blossom, because the pink thing's still here from Puck. I assume we're going to see the pink thing in a second, although Puck's being burnt pretty hardcore here. They're going to kill it before it casts any mechanic. They're kind of blasting. Oh wait, the mechanics are carrying on even though they've killed the enemy. Interesting. So you can't eliminate a mechanic from the fight in this phase.
So I think you probably want to go back to like 10 or 20 seconds because a lot of happened that you probably didn't see at first sight. Yeah, if you go back there, that should be fine. There's going to be something happening in the room, and a mechanic is going to come back, which is the bramble chains. And just look at how that's dealt with, I suppose. Okay. Because there's also another mechanic coming in, which is a knockback, which kind of messes up.
Yeah, with the bramble chain, that could be a bad combo if you spread it too far. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. So they shared the meteor. Now they're going to move to Puck. They don't seem to be doing too... Oh, okay. I think that was just a DPS ability. I'm not actually seeing anything here that they're doing.
So something just happened in the room.
Yeah, there's the bramble. I see that. That's that green icon above their heads. Oh. So they moved quickly to snap while also trying to break the... In fact, 2 people died to that mechanic. Hold on. I want to watch that again. Okay, so spread and avoid here. Then gather up. Puck's Breath. Oh, Puck's Breath is the ability that needs to be shared. Okay, got that. I'm kind of relying on the cast bars here. Can I see? Oh, whispering. Oh, I see. I didn't even see the boss frames. There's boss frames on the left. I had no idea. Okay. So Mustard is doing whispering something. Willow winds, something like that. Which is that. Whispering wind, which is just AoE damage from what I could tell.
Mm-hmm. So if you pause here, do you see something in the room?
I see something blue.
Yeah, so what happened is basically 2 rows of like vines spawned, which is kind of a common mechanic in Final Fantasy XIV, in which like a half of the room AoEs to one side and half of the room AoEs to one side. So they're basically, if you pause here, yeah, so like 2/4 of the room are getting AoE'd by vines. They're lining up around the circle of the room underneath Titania, because that is a pool that you would die in. But if you stand outside of it, you're going to get knocked back. So then they're separating on both sides so that they can, with that knockback, also break the bramble chain.
Oh, so you're putting the DPS on one side and the healers and tanks on the other, so they naturally get knocked and split the chain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It's a lot of overlapping things that it's really, really hard to see if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be very aware this is going to happen, is what I would say, because it's not clear, like at least from this POV. This player obviously knew this was going to happen and where to stand and stuff, and I know that they had comms or whatever to say go and stand over there. The telegraphing is pretty quick on this. You'd have to have some experience here. Like you need to know this is going to happen, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely something you need to prepare for, and
yeah.
This can absolutely be done with pugs that are not on comms together, because after a while the player base kind of like gets into a standard way of doing the fight, and then everyone knows then that's the way to do it. So
yeah, I would say watching this is a kind of anti-me mechanic. Not to say that other fights aren't like this, because this is like it's what I would call in World of Warcraft a dance fight. There's a set dance to do with a lot of this stuff.
Correct, yep.
You know, like we would see with a Hellier and Operator Thulgar, something like that. Where I assume this happens repeatedly and is beat by DPS is the only thing to do it, because you would just kill it quicker so it would do less.
Yeah, but you can absolutely do this like the first week that this fight comes out with a pug. It's not that big of a deal.
I kind of see what people say is like it's not a DPS check because it's a lot of DDR. Like if you know the mechanic in terms of positioning, you're probably beating a lot of the fight in that regard. Am I wrong in that statement? Is that as long as you understand? Yeah, you could survive all day. It feels like if there's no enrage or anything, you can survive all day as long as you know kind of what's happening with this.
There is an enrage here though, which is you can see like Titania's power is 95. If that would have reached 100 and you wouldn't have finished the ad phase, then you would have been dead here. So that is basically like a DPS mechanic here, which isn't too tight, but it does kind of stop the people that don't have a good grasp of their class, basically.
Yeah. I'm still completely baffled, utterly baffled, by how this person is healing this group. I am completely baffled, and I need an answer right now. Is the healing smart healing, or are they using mouse overs that I can't tell? Or what's happening with this healing? Because there's a great deal of spells here. I see this player utilizing a lot of these spells. Mana seems to be of little concern. I mean, mana looks to be about 60% right now. But I don't see them targeting players or anything like that. So, how does that work?
So, this is where it kind of gets a little bit technical. In most healing setups, you would have one healer that shields and one healer that heals raw health. Right. A white mage is one that would do raw healing, and the other one is a scholar in this group, which does shield healing. So a lot of the like healing would kind of be like disc priest healing, so it gets prevented or it gets mitigated a lot. After which you don't really need to do a lot of intense healing, especially like on tanks or like on the DPS. That's one part of it, and then the other one is probably that the players in this group aren't taking much unnecessary damage, which is where most of the raw healing would come in, and where you would actually need to do spot healing, and you would need to target players to heal them. As long as players are not taking those like vulnerability stacks from taking unavoidable damage, you don't have to do a lot of spot healing because you know exactly what kind of mechanics are coming up. So you can kind of like trickle heal them and leave them on low HP because you know that these players just won't die in the next minute.
So
that's...
But same again, I assume there's some spot healing going on here, but are a lot of these healing spells actively seeking out injured people? Like their AoE
Not
heals
really.
for the most part?
They're like AoE heals yet. I haven't looked at what he's been pressing exactly, but I imagine there will have been a couple of like Medica 2s or something, which is basically like a group-wide AoE heal, which adds on like a wild growth or like a rejuve at the end of it as well.
Okay. Mist Rune is coming. Wet, wet, wet. We're gonna get wet, wet, wet. All right, I'm ready. What is Mist Rune? Let's see if I figure this out. Italia calls the water. Okay, I think this is the same sort of thing. And then the Phantom Rune is happening, which you said is the one that you have to read the body language. But they're about to soak the orbs again. So I'm guessing if I got this right earlier on, they're going to gain the fire resistance buff. There it is. And then when you play with fire, the fire hammer, or whatever it's called, is coming, or the shared attack. Whoa, we haven't had this. Whoa. Okay, so somebody didn't soak. Yes, somebody didn't soak. Noobs, man. So easy. Just stand in it, bro. God, how do you get this wrong? It looks like it has no health, though. So
yeah,
fine.
One is not too bad. When it gets to be multiple, it starts to be a little bit problematic.
I'm noticing here, so there are 2 shared. So they've split the group in 2 here to share. And we're getting the fireworks are coming as well. Which is the... I'm not even sure what this does, actually. It's the growing things. You have to be in the safe spot. So the safe spot is always the same, it looks like here, because they were more than ready for this before this mechanic ever came in. They knew to stand there before this even spawned. I'm not sure if this could have gone any differently at all, Mike, because what I'm seeing back here, before this even came in, if you look here, and they're dealing with the ad, they were always coming back to these 2 spots. So I assume this is kind of a set in stone position that will always be safe during this next mechanic, the growth rune.
So that's not quite true, because those runes, they can spawn in 2 different locations. It can spawn in this location or rotated a quarter.
Yep.
And why would that be a problem with the mistake that the player made by not soaking one of the water puddles?
Why would that be a problem? It would cut off... It's not... Well, they all cut off access to the water pools. Why would it be a problem if he not soaked one? Does the pool disappear when he doesn't soak one?
It wouldn't appear. So that spot wouldn't have a water pool there, so you wouldn't have a fire defense buff at that point. So you wouldn't be able to soak it with 4 people, and you die with 4 people.
Ah, okay. All right. Did he miss this one?
Yes.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so what you're saying is, because he missed this one, there's no pool there. So if these 2 fireworks would have spawned here, if they've been rotated 90, then the groups would have had to move. They would have had to rotate as well. So one group would have been here, one group would have been here, and they wouldn't have had water for the fire hammer.
Correct. Yep.
All right, good. So they got lucky here, really.
They did. It's basically a coin toss whether this raid was a wipe or not at this point, and they won.
Okay, good luck. I'm still trying to see the body language thing. Here's Phantom Rune. So there's a slight swirl here. Now, I have no idea if it's a player or the boss doing that, but I'm noticing, if I come back here, I really want to get this right, is Phantom Rune starts, then this swirl happens, and our player instantly moves to the right. So that's the telegraph of what's about to happen, I think. Although this player's not going there. And then they're moving away.
And one player got hit with it. So,
was I right? That was the telegraph, that it was going to be a close range AoE, because that's what I would pick up from that yellow swirly line.
From what I remember from doing this like 2 years ago, that was not the tell. It's just the body position that the boss takes. So I think it's something like, if you look at how she's like kind of like spreads out the wings. Yeah, I think that's close range, and then something else is the donut. But I never really looked at that myself. I always stood on the edge of where the PB AoE would be and the donut AoE would start. So you can always react to it either way.
Okay,
That's basically where I would stand.
Bright Sabbath. I did know what this was. I think this was a tank kit. Oh no, is it phase? Is it the other phase again?
That was just that was just a raid wide AoE, I think.
Okay, Fey Light. Burn, burn, burn. That's the tank kit. Okay. Oh wow, that tank just got absolutely crushed.
Yeah, so the tanks are choosing to solo soak it with a massive tank cooldown, basically. So they're choosing like ability that you can't die the next 5 seconds, for example.
Okay, this is easy. You watch where the first ones spawn, you move out of those, and when they detonate, you go back in. Super easy. Spread out. Get quite a lot of time actually to spread out, which is nice. Get a good 6 or 7 seconds with that. Pretty cool. I'm getting this now. I'm getting there.
At this point, you've kind of seen everything, I think. There's not going to be any more new mechanics at this point.
There's a lot to remember.
Mm-hmm.
There's surely a lot to remember. What's happening here? Okay. Right, there's a big circle down. Like this. Oh, this is the chain break. Yeah, I know this. Oh, it looked like they got actually a little confused there.
They're panicking, yep.
Oh, you see the way I'm calling it? Caster God. Already. Already the Caster God. I totally nailed it. Oops. Oh, someone's actually put in the chat, oops, sorry, because they took it early. Yeah.
So basically,
let's try and fix it.
I think what happened here is they just weren't like ready for the tether to come in, and the tether spawns, I think, on a random person. And then you kind of need to organize a group for it to like go in the correct order and on the correct people without it hitting anyone else. And that's kind of where the panic came in here. Like, who's going to pick up the tether? Where are we going to go? So you kind of could see the squirming there.
What's going on with mana? Because this person is now back to full mana. Is this an overgeared player, or is mana less of a concern? I mean, there's a bit of panic going on in this raid. I can see it already. And I saw some spot healing, finally. I did see them actually click somebody and heal them. But their mana's back up to full again. Is this potions, or is this just a normal thing? I'm just interested.
Like a white mage has a lot of... I think it has like 2 abilities to manage its own mana. One is like a regen, and one is, I think, like 12 seconds of no mana cost, so you can spam anything you want.
Wow.
He's probably using those very efficiently, and he's just straight up DPSing for most of the fight that I can see anyway. Mm-hmm. And if he's choosing to heal with mana efficient heals, which you have like a large range of heals you can use, like basically like spell ranks from like vanilla WoW, where you have like heal 1, heal 2, heal 3. That's kind of what happens in Final Fantasy XIV as well. But they also just don't have a lot to heal. Yeah,
I would say both healers are pretty much full, so they're very comfortable with this. Mm-hmm. Something that... What's that smell? Something's burning. Ground targeting mode. What? Withering roots, out you shoot. Okay, so we're now going to adjust... I would say we're going to stand here and here, based on that position. Oh no, we're going to a corner.
So this is basically just a repeat from phase 1, where we have the growth and the chains, yep.
Okay. Looks easy. I've noticed the abilities appear to be becoming a little faster in this phase, although they are abilities you've dealt with before, but they do appear to be doing a little bit faster. Guess which one? Okay, so the wings aren't spread, so this is not the close AoE. Yeah! I'm easy! Easy for me, dude!
You read the body language of a fairy,
I read the body language. It's so free, honestly. Oh, this boss is giga free. Phantom Rune checking. Run away! Yeah! Oh, you noob! Noob, you got hit! You suck! Oh, you're so bad. I'm chuffed now. I'm reading it. I'm getting there.
And there we go. That's the boss down.
Oh, yeah, come on. I want to see the death. Oh, we got a cutscene. And an achieve. Wunderbar. Well, that was easy. It's about the typing in the chat. Oh, waifu dead. Feels bad.
So that was it, Mike.
That is... You know what it is? What I take away from this, and I'm sure... I mean, maybe people want us to check out a different boss. I'm sure that might be the case. It's very overwhelming to an onlooker. Like, every time, if I pause any screen here, it's so overwhelming. But the mechanics are very basic. Once you have a little understanding. There's a lot of them, though. I would say there was way more than I expected. There's a good 10 or 12 mechanics going on here. Happening. Now, they were all relatively basic and relatively well telegraphed, actually, once I could see what I was looking at. It was pretty good. I really dislike the UI, but like you said, there's a lot been moved around here. Things have been moved around to adjust it and stuff like that, but certainly having this health bar right in the middle of my screen is triggering me to hell.
Yeah, that's just personal preference, I guess. What I will say is, compared to WoW, like the standard tools available for rate markers and telegraphs and stuff, it's kind of all made to fit into one package, is what I'll say. And all the fights are kind of made to fit within this package of telegraphs, of signs and markers. And as you level along the expansions, like the experience that you have of what abilities, how they get telegraphed, and with when and how you deal with it, it kind of keeps building on top of it. Whereas WoW kind of like tries to reinvent itself sometimes with new stuff that you just don't recognize at first glance.
Yeah, it's very, very the spell effects are a little overwhelming. Like, a part of me, even now I kind of know what I'm looking at, wants to turn it down. I feel like if I was playing this, because obviously this is a YouTube video, so it's been down-resed a little bit. I feel like my screen would be a little bit like, visual clutter-wise. I'm
unsure how much you can declutter it exactly, because there's one thing that this game kind of doesn't do, which WoW does a lot. It's hide spell mechanics from players, and you can even see like all the buffs that people are getting and debuffs that you can get. They're all showing up on your screen, which I imagine you wouldn't really want to know. Like, I mean, do you want to know when your monk goes into Oppo stance or a Raptor stance or whatever? Not really, right?
Not if it's overwhelming. I think about the recent complaints we had about mages in World of Warcraft with their shifting power ability, which was just so overwhelming and bright that it just annoyed players. Right? It was just too much, where we couldn't see wild spirits and things like that. But I mean, most of the abilities here are very, very visual. Like, it's a lot of spell effects going on. It's the first thing you notice, right? But it's pretty.
Part of the appeal.
It's very pretty. Yes, it's very pretty. Unquestionably very pretty. I guess from what it's just me being more of a mechanics nerd, is I like just a simple ground texture if we're going to do something, so I can see what's going on. I would say there was a lot of things I'd like to disable on this, like damage numbers. Like this, if I look now, all this is just irritating me. It's just so much stuff all the time.
I mean, what's happening there is basically like a Dark Knight is attacking. There's an explosion happening from the bard. Like a heal is going off. Like everything's basically showing and stacking on top of each other, which is spectacular, but can hide some things if they're not telegraphed well, which I imagine might happen on some fights later on that I haven't experienced myself. Which yeah, we might go on to if someone else wants to do this with you, Mike, who has experience with the actual hard fights, which I haven't done myself and I can't talk you through.
Well, mechanics-wise, I think we kind of nailed it. I guess, right? I'm sure there's so many upset people who are like,
oh, this is not going to be a video that people are going to be happy with. This is going to be a lot of upset people, I imagine. All
right. Well, I don't not intending to do that. I did want to take a look at it and try to get an understanding of what I was looking at. Let's play one game before we finish. Do you know what all the classes in this raid are based on those symbols?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do the list. Just name one and I'll try and put the marker to it from what I've seen.
All right. Let's go with Samurai.
All right, Samurai's a DPS, so I'm going to go with the guy with the sword. Lurya is the Samurai. There's a sword picture.
That's wrong.
Okay.
You want to have another guess on which one the Samurai is?
Samurai could also be the tank. Shouldn't discount that. Samurai might be the tank, but I'm going to go with it's a DPSer. The chocolate bar. Shiku.
Nope.
Alright. Alright, let me ask... Alright, is the Samurai a DPS?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I got 50% chance and I'm wrong. The claw mark.
Nope.
What? The steering wheel? Okay. Samurai is the steering wheel. Okay.
At least I think that's a samurai. Like it would be hilarious if I'm wrong here as well.
Yeah, true. All right, another one.
All right, a bard.
All right, a bard. I mean, a bard should probably a healer, right? Earrings or elf shoes.
No.
Okay. Is it a healer?
No.
Fuck. Chocolate bar.
Yes.
It looks a bit like an instrument.
It's a harp, right? It's a harp.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Gunbreaker.
The bullets.
Nope.
What? Oh my god. Okay. The gunbreaker. The is this this one? The last one? The sword?
Nope.
Oh, it's not okay. It's not a DPS then. Gunbreaker. It's gotta be a tank. So I'm going with the Zelda person, because this one's like an ominous mask, which doesn't fit a gunbreaker. I don't think.
That's the gunbreaker indeed. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Good.
It's one of the two tanks. Okay. White mage.
White mage is the person we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Monk.
Is the other healer the elf shoes?
Nope.
Monk tank. The other tank.
Nope.
Fuck. All right. So, it's gotta be sword then.
Nope.
What? Did we do everybody? No, samurai steering wheel. Bard. Who have I missed? The bullets?
Yeah, they're scratch marks basically. They're scratch marks.
Okay. Wolverine, I get it.
Mm-hmm. All right, scholar.
Scholar's the other healer. Elf
Yes.
shoes. Yeah.
Dark Knight.
The tank with the mask.
Mm-hmm. And then last one is a red mage.
I can't remember which DPS we didn't do. It's gotta be this gotta be this one, the sword.
Yep.
What's it supposed? Is that a wand? Is that what that's supposed to be?
It's like a saber with like some magic at the bottom. Basically, like a red mage is like a hybrid melee caster. So they cast and then they build a resource and then they spend it in melee and then they flip back.
To be clear here, if you showed me all the symbols for the World of Warcraft classes, I still wouldn't get them right today. Like,
oh, you would. You absolutely.
I don't think
would.
so. I don't think so. Like some of the rogue ones, I always get wrong. I probably would get close. I don't think I'd get them all. Would I?
Which one's the one? What? Eviscerate. What rogue class is that?
It's Assas. That's
Yeah,
Assas.
okay,
Outlaw is the yellow one, and Sub's the emo looking one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See,
That's how
I
it.
Get it.
Yeah, I would get it, but like the symbols rarely. Like the steering wheel samurai. I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be a glaive.
let me actually double check that I'm right with that. I'm curious now. I'm pretty sure.
I find it odd
samurai.
that the steering wheel is the samurai.
Yeah, it is a samurai.
Okay. All right. Well, let's leave it there. That was fun. I do recognize a lot now. I guarantee if we did this again, I would be all over it, because it was. I had to get through the visual noise, but we can
probably, like, if people enjoy this, we can probably do the extreme trial that comes after this, which is Innocence, I think it's called, which is different but alike, but still very graphically intense. But we'll see what the reactions versus to this video, whether people even enjoyed it.
Thank you for your time, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for joining on this journey. And for those of you who requested I do this, I hope you're happy. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. It was really super interesting for me to look at Final Fantasy XIV and try and figure out all the bits, because it's such a graphical change from World of Warcraft. I hope you enjoyed it too. Obviously, there's no an ill intent here. There's no mocking of Final Fantasy XIV. I actually find the bosses really, really interesting, and I'd love to see any more things that you think I should check out. Let me know down below. If you want to go to our website, you can leave some messages there, and you can pick up a shirt like this. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.